Well, howdy everyone. Greetings and namaste. I was reading past journals of mine and seeing that it has been 12 years since I started writing in my journals. About 12 years, just over 12 years. And it's crazy to think that I've been on my own personal journey of growth and discovery for 12 years. And it all started because of a woman. And it seems like every moment of growth that I have in my life that occurs, it's been from a few things, but a lot of them have been from the women in my past relationships or dating experiences. So I remember, if you recall from 2022, I did some videos with my experience with Chelsea and that breakup. That was a breakup I initiated and it was super intense. There's a few videos of me just crying my eyes out and feeling just tons of emotion and traumas and things like that. And recently I went through another breakup, and they always seem to come at the beginning of the year around March. Like, is there something significant about that time of the year for me? There might be. But each time I've had a breakup in my life, and I've had a number of them, either from me doing it or from the other person doing it. The end result is the same, that eventually both people move on, but it takes time and it takes healing. And it's been like 10 days since the breakup happened with me, so it was about a 3-month relationship, or just under 3 months. A very intense, way up high, and then almost like a plane crashed at the end type of situation. There wasn't a long drawn out period of debate about it. She just kind of ended it suddenly, and it was something I thought about ending over time too. There was a lot of we were triggerers of each other's traumas, and we also experienced some beautiful blissful moments together. But every week there was a trigger of some kind that we were doing to each other, and I think what was happening is she was triggering my fear of abandonment, fear of, yeah, of being abandoned, and I was triggering a fear of deep intimacy for her that was scary for her. And there could be other things. That's kind of where I've landed at its most simple, as the most simple explanation I can give it. And the universe is really weird. It sends people in our lives that we need for whatever mysterious reason. The first, gosh, the first week after the breakup was brutal. I had 2 days where I didn't sleep at all. I had like massive insomnia, and I had to go to the my doctor and get some anti-anxiety meds to kind of help calm my system down. And even today, my resting heart rate's about 10 beats higher per minute on average. So it's a slow process. I've been doing a lot of research. It's a slow process of detoxing neurochemically. When bonding with someone, our nervous systems calibrate to that person, and there's all sorts of hormones involved, and that's not something that can just be turned off easily. At least I can't turn that off easily. Some people may be able to with various mental tricks, but I'm not aware of a way to just instantly unwire that. I think it can be, I think the only way to do it is to go through the grief of it and the unwiring of it. And it's a difficult process. Oh, it's difficult. It requires a lot of just sitting with feelings and emotions. And I've been doing that for the last 10 days, just inwardly focusing and letting myself feel whatever comes up. I've experienced all the stages of grief: the sadness, the anger, the bargaining, depression, all of it at various stages. And on day 9 yesterday, I sort of started to feel some moments of coming out of the swamp of it. But I've read in my journals about relationships like this I've had that were this length of time, but this is probably the most intense one I've experienced for me. It usually takes me a couple months to kind of work through it, and then another month or two and I'm good, and we'll see how long this one takes. But I'm at a point now where I can talk and do a video without just losing it. And yeah, the relationships I've had, they always teach me a lot when they end. That's where the learning and growth occurs. The learning and growth doesn't usually occur during the relationship, funny enough for me. I get to look at why it ended. I get to look at why there was times I wanted to end it and I didn't. And I get to look at what we were triggering in each other and what each of our individual traumas are, and try to take a very objective, honest look at it. She was someone I developed deep feelings for, deep love and care for, and then it just kind of went poof. It's sort of how it felt, but I know that that's not reality. Rarely do things just end like that. There's always a period of thinking about it from the person that ends it, and so it's never just poof. So I have trauma, of course, related to that. Her doing that was a push on my trauma from years and years and years ago with the gal that I initially started my journals for. And for whatever mysterious reason, I needed to have that test done. I needed to have that experience stretch me and push on that trauma for whatever's next in the future for me. It's going to take me time to grieve, and I've been writing a lot in my journal about it, and letting my tears flow. And I've never had my heart rate increase by this much. For the first day or two after, I was in shock, but once the shock wore off, my heart rate increased by 30 beats per minute. It was in the 80s, which is way high for me. Just this thumping kind of sensation of just utter confusion and despair. And I had to really sit with myself in those moments and just breathe and ground myself. And it was a major test of my ability to just sit and stay grounded. But I was able to do it, but it was intense. It sucked. It was some of the worst suffering I've experienced post a breakup. And it's a new one for me to have now an elevated heart rate. I know that as I detox from the situation, and the only way to do that is to just completely cut contact, and that's the only way to do it. And she wanted to remain friends afterward, but that was completely revolting and insulting to me to do that, and it would be emasculating to me to do that. I don't do that. I'm not going to be kind of this on standby to have good feelings siphoned from me. I'm not interested in that. And I learned to not do that years and years ago. I've had many women after a breakup want to remain friends because I'm a good, great guy, and they don't want to lose that. And I tried that a few times at the beginning of my journey, and it was always, I felt like less of a man, and that's not what I deserve. I deserve someone who looks at me and says, damn, I am honored to be with you, and I'm with you through the good and the bad, and that's important to me. So I responded that way. I said no to the friendship, and that I deserve someone that wants me and truly wants me through the ups and downs and the good and bad in life, and sees me as her king, or a king, her king, however you want to word it. And Yeah, super intense, super intense learning and growing experience, and just another little test from the universe to see how I respond. And I think the only way to respond to a breakup, if you've been dumped, and either way, if you do the dumping or get dumped, all paths lead to the same result. And that is um, taking a step back. And if you do it right, if you do it right, taking a step back, reevaluating your life, what went wrong, and um, generally the times I have been dumped were tremendous learning and growing opportunities for me. I integrated new ways of being and standards that were important to me. And with this situation, I already had a standard not to be disrespected, not to be talked down to, demeaned, or dismissed. But for whatever mysterious reason, this woman pushed me in those areas and challenged me almost as if the universe was like, "Do you really have these standards?" And so I started to push back and started to initiate conversation around it, and just sent a really long, loving message that disrespect wasn't going to work for me, but I wanted to work on things. And I think that was too much, too intense, not fun, not, um, yeah, whatever it was like throwing a Hail Mary in a football game. I was like, I'm going to give this one last shot, and it probably will blow up in my face. And it did, in the sense that it didn't land. And so I get to now go through a post breakup again. I've been through several of these on my channel. Y'all have probably seen them. And I get to go through this journey of getting my heart rate to get back to its normal beats per minute in the 50s. It's like 67 right now when I'm at rest. And it's just because it was very triggering, the situation and the end of it. And a situation like that for me can't last super long. Like it was going to be ended by her or me pretty soon. Um, but she got to do it, and that's okay. I held no hard feelings or ill will toward her. I think she's got some demons and some things that she's struggling with, and I do too. I've got my own demons and traumas as well, but I'm grateful for the experience. Some really lovely shared memories and experiences, things I'm fond of. And my breakups are weird because my grief is being processed all up front. I'm sort of paying for it in cash. And her grief, if she truly loved me like she said she did, which maybe she didn't, then she probably won't have any grief. But if she did, her grief is going to be put on a high interest credit card. She'll not think about it too much for a few weeks, but a few weeks or a month or two down the road, when there's some silence and she's not feeling the weight of the intensity of the situation, and me having standards and probably smothering her emotionally, because I like to be vulnerable and share feelings. It's important to me. I am a sharer, and I will be vulnerable in that way, even if it costs me women in my life. It's important for me to be that way as a man. I want to be that, and I can be strong and powerful and grounded as well. And I can work on holding my masculine frame better. There were moments with her that I texted her a lot, and I was just feeling sad or unsafe, and so I can work better at sitting with things and being and just breathing through moments I feel uncomfortable, and calmly raising issues quickly when they arise versus waiting a day. But some beautiful memories with her, and like I said, I get to process all my grief up front, and if it was truly a mutual love, then she'll have to process her grief down the road. It's like my grief is all up front and going like this. Hers is like going to be like this, but it'll be a longer tail at the end. Um, and it'll be more like I don't know what her process will be, to be honest, but I generally know that's how it works. When I'd broken up with people, I felt relief in the beginning, and then I had to really weigh what happened in the person I broke up with. It wasn't until later down the road that happened. It happened with my ex-wife, who I broke up with. For the first few months, I was out dating, and like I'm living my life, and then I spent the next couple of years just realizing that she had some good qualities about her, and there was things that were incompatible as well, for sure. But I had to go through grieving for a couple of years about her and our family unit, and but it was delayed by a few months. But all relationships are there to help us grow in life. I think that's the best way to look at them. I could be angry, I could be bitter, but it doesn't serve anyone. I let myself be angry here in my room by myself when those angry moments happened. And those angry moments are just for me to experience by myself. I never let anyone see me in anger. I will always keep it completely controlled until I'm either by the heavy bag or by myself in my room or something like that. But this was a soul that came across my journey, a soul that I really felt like had good potential. And it ended. And my process is to find acceptance with that ending and just breathe through it and try to normalize my nervous system and heart rate. And I think she's going to give me some strength in the future, the ability to be stronger in my frame and holding my frame as a man. So I think there's some beautiful gifts that she's leaving me, and hopefully for her, she'll be able to go deep into her emotional capacity and really be able to face some things and know that she had a safe place with me. That's what I would hope if she and I ever talked again, was that she has a safe place in me to talk, and but she's going to have to deal with that in some other way. I'm not available to just as a friend or for basic chit chat. I know what I want and I know what I deserve. And interestingly enough, I am friends with people in the past that I have dated. But those were souls that treated me really well. Those were good, kind, genuine souls. And there may be a chance down the road with this woman with some growth and working through some things that she and I could talk again and be friends. But to try to continue a relationship with her right now would be paramount to disaster. And but I'm grateful for her, grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for all my past relationships, and I'm learning. I'm 48 and I'm still learning, and I'm still grieving. I've got a lot of pictures and beautiful moments and mementos from this past relationship. So my way of dealing with it is to process inwardly and to not try to date at all. I did go out dancing 2 nights ago on Saturday, and it was nice. It was kind of like it was weird, but the grief, like I've talked to people and family members and whatnot, and I went out dancing, and it kind of suppressed the grief temporarily. But then it came back once I'm sitting here by myself, so I could try to distract myself from the grief with trying to date again or all sorts of stuff, or trying to talk to as many people as I can. But all that's doing is delaying it and putting it on interest. I think it builds up in our system, and then the payment is much harsher later. And but yeah, that's what I've been up to the last few months, and now I'm going through the grieving process. It looks like I'm pretty calm and centered right now, and it's because it's taking me 9 or 10 days to just really let myself feel all the emotions difficulty and heartbreak, and now I'm having moments where I can sort of just talk calmly and coolly. And but I'm curious for y'all if you've had any. I know a lot of y'all are married, but relationships are a beautiful thing, and they can definitely push and trigger us ultimately as well. It's almost like in some ways we choose people that are going to trigger our deepest traumas to see if that wound is healed. And I get to do some work on myself. I get to work on having a strong frame and learning to sit with discomfort. And this breakup is exactly that. I spent the last 10 days just sitting with it, thinking about it, writing. I'm not even writing today because I've beaten the horse to death in my journal. There's only sitting with it, and day after day sitting with it, and not acting on anything, just sitting with it, letting myself feel whatever comes up. And I think as I do that over the coming months, my heart rate will normalize, hopefully. Or if not, I've mutated. Maybe I'm mutated and like Lyme disease kind of mutated me. Maybe this experience was so triggering to my nervous system. I have an accelerated heart rate for the rest of my life. I don't think so, though. I know how to get over a breakup, and it sucks. And the only way to do it is to just completely detach and go through the grieving process. And it sucks. It's horrible. It's difficult. But on the other side of it is an eventual phoenix rising from the ash. And I think both of us will learn some things, and that's good. That's a good way to look at it. Is we both gave each other certain gifts that hopefully will help us learn and grow and for the future. So that's my video, a 12-year journey and another breakup. And that's all I have to say. This video is over 22 minutes. Interesting. We'll see y'all later.